At first glance, you think that they are an odd couple. You can't really see what they have in common. They just seem to share a kennel at the shelter, and that's it. Oscar is full of life, happy and excited and energetic, and Tetris is. She's just Tetris. If you measure a dog's energy mode from a scale of 1 to 10, sweet Tetris would probably get a 0.5, just for sitting around and breathing, maybe. If you don't really know her very well, you might think that there's something wrong with her, but nothing is really wrong with Tetris. She's just too quiet. As if she has pre-decided that life is all about sitting back and enjoying things happening before your eyes. Those two love each other, and they love each other in a way that is not evident unless you get to know them better. They both let one another be. Oscar lets Tetris be Tetris without forcing her to keep up with him, and Tetris lets Oscar be Oscar without ever being annoyed by his excitement. Neither of them expects the other to be something that they are not, and somehow they make the perfect couple. And believe it or not, Tetris is Oscar's safety net. That quiet, submissive dog who won't do much other than eat, sleep, and just play there, keeps an eye on her partner every day, even if you don't realize it. And when Oscar was once attacked by some other dogs in the shelter, Tetris suddenly transformed into a bodyguard and protected her friend. And Oscar always needed someone to protect him. Actually, this is my second video on him. Believe it or not, the first one was in August 2016, more than a year and a half ago, right after his recovery. He had been rescued a few months before from the streets of Greece. A volunteer had spotted him somewhere near the shelter, sick and malnourished, as he was being chased around and bullied by a pack of stray dogs. There are so many of them here. They make up their own societies and their own rules, and some of them are cruel and harsh, especially for a weak and sensitive dog like Oscar. He couldn't stand up to them, so he would just let them bully and harass him. He was brought to the shelter the same day. His blood test results were devastating. He was one of the dogs that don't really look that sick, but they are. Oscar was very sick, and apart from his vitals that were not promising at all, that horrible itch he suffered from because of the mange had left him sleepless for weeks. He was such a loving and tender boy, always waiting for a cuddle, always enjoying a walk, always making you feel welcomed. No matter how uncomfortable he felt, trapped in his own body, he was always happy, always sweet, always there. Despite the prognosis, Oscar started feeling better and better every day. He was so cooperative and so happy that it took weeks before the volunteers realized that there was something off about him. We had our vet re-examine him again, and he confirmed what we all suspected but couldn't really believe it. Apparently, Oscar could only see some shadows and nothing else. He had almost been blinded by the disease, left untreated for too long. Probably one of the reasons why he could not defend himself against the packs of stray dogs on the street. We hadn't realized that he was blind, and we never treated him as such. And after we found out, nothing really changed, because Oscar was just Oscar. He never knew that there was something wrong with him. Maybe because there wasn't. I have to admit that I had a soft spot for Oscar since day one, for no particular reason. I just did. You can say that his first before-after video was a success, numbers-wise, but it didn't get him adopted. Weeks went by, months went by, and Oscar was always there, with us. Always happy, always tender, always my favorite boy. Oscar is like a big baby that won't grow up. He has a lust for life and the energy of a teenager. More than a year went by after his rescue. Dogs kept coming and going, and Oscar just remained at the shelter. He was then moved to a bigger kennel that he now shares with Tetris. And you know, life in a shelter is not the best a dog can have, but sometimes it can feel like home. Oscar and Tetris are lucky in a way because they make each other feel like they're home. They have their routine, they have each other, and they are safe. They only seem to have one thing in common. They both fit into the category of the non-adoptable ones. And this is what makes them unlucky and lucky at the same time, because if one of them was more adoptable, they would have been parted a long time ago. To see them adopted together would be like a dream come true. And I'm a believer, so I decided to give it a go, the best way I know how to.